Don't stop me now.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the wonderful, wacky world of the Dungeoneers of Depravity. I am Jason Klein, your resident DM, and we are kind of not sure.
I don't want to stop at all.
I definitely am hearing Fleck now.
Inside.
Yep, there's the buzz I was waiting for. I was like, I knew I'm going to hear a buzz sooner or later if Fleck came on.
Jason, did you know that they call me Mr. Fahrenheit?
They really don't.
You don't know what they do.
I do. I am them.
Don't want to stop at all.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm going to try and do a heckin' reconnect to the chat. You may want to do... Oh, I see you.
Yeah, I just I reloaded it one more time just to see if there was
Spirit
a change.
fingers.
Oh, please no spirit fingers. We are having all of the terrible technical difficulties right now, which is so wonderful, let me tell you. And
well, fortunately, your gorgeous mug is... You give me 16 cents and a $5...
And a handle of whiskey, and then we're talking, apparently.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey.
Guess who else is here?
Dennis!
Ah!
Hey. Move over,
She's
fat
using
ass.
up my couch.
All right, well, now that we have all but one of our players, I think DJ's probably not going to be here tonight because I have not heard anything from him. And as far as all of my chat options for him, it's saying the last time he was on any of them was 4 hours ago. So I think we're just without our resident drow, unfortunately. So
Oh, no, and he's the one that talks the most out of the whole party, so we're missing out on a lot of dialogue.
Aw, why you gotta call him out like that?
Because he can't defend himself.
Oh, that's just rude. Well, I hear
how it
tapping. I think Fleck is trying to send a message to us.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That is so bright above us.
We're
Ah,
looking at
there's
it.
a hand!
Is that his asshole? No,
No,
it's his palm.
that's his face.
Well, a man can hope.
Oh no. So Fleck, are you having technical difficulties, buddy?
Nope.
Yay! We can hear
He's
him.
here. He's a redhead. He's gorgeous. Let's move on.
We do love you, Fleck. I don't know what we'd do without your giantness.
Eat pistachios like I'm currently doing.
Well, on that note, shall we go over what happened last episode, y'all, so we can have a full reminder in case some of you forgot stuff?
Oh my, yes.
Oh, please no. That's too much fabulousness.
Fabulosity.
Oh,
Okay.
boy. So our lovely party members had themselves quite the encounter. They killed these dragon-like creatures that were invading the deck, and upon doing so, discovered that the creature that had attacked them back in the cave where they met Cadmus was still very much alive and saying hello. Knew them by name, and as they were freaking out, and Dargo was having a complete rageorama over here, just destroying pieces, Palsier attempted to sneak off with a piece of it to investigate it. Rose, seeing this, decided to chase him, ran into the cannon after he decided to misty step his way towards the elevator.
Then she snitched.
And she snitched. She snitched so much. Snitched upon the whole experience, and, Palsier decided to skedaddle where he locked himself in the room, and after locking himself in the room, Fleck decided to reintroduce old Palsier back to his favorite friend on the ship, the Aetherhammer, known as our little spiderlings, which promptly, against his will, decide to heal him or cuddle him forcefully.
Not a fan.
During this, Dargo went aboard and had a little powwow with each of the members, asking for just some quick questions. And hey, if you all could, after in a little bit, just meet us at the table so we can have a sit down. He confronted Palsier downstairs, where he not only showed that the ship has some hidden features the rest of the crew were not aware of, but he also kind of held Palsier at glowing sword point and cuffed him with some magical manacles. Or manacles. Good lord. Come on, mouth. Work with me.
Tentacles? What?
Yes, tentacles.
I know where this is going.
We all know where this is going. And we know where Danny is hoping for it to go. Bow chicka bow wow. That being said, after
Danny has no kinks.
there is no judgment. There's only very much respect for that. So Palsier, after having some quick little talking with Dargo, managed to dissuade from Dargo taking his head off, and they proceed upstairs to get the group together for a nice chat over some tea, as Kestrel has come upstairs and delivered tea to everyone. I figured that was a good start to everyone. So you're all at the table, you have nice steaming tea. Phileas, your resident guide, the Asamir, is standing looking very nervous in the corner because she's really not sure what to do since you're in her general map area and have taken the table. So yeah, this is the scene. Kestrel has quickly slept out of the room in his little gnomish self, and the rest of you are sitting at the table staring at each other, and Phileas is standing in a corner looking very, very nervous and really uncomfortable.
Well, Palsier is going to ignore her entirely. Does anybody else want to acknowledge the flappy-winged navigator in the corner?
I will.
I know you will.
She has feelings.
I will be voicing Null for short periods of time, by the way, since he's not here.
So Palsier does not care about the flappy feelings of this flappy person.
She can stay in my corner.
Oh, I bet she can.
Phileas kind of perks up hearing that someone's on her side, and she's going to move a little bit closer over into this corner. Not standing directly behind you, Rose, but off to the side, where she's trying to kind of put herself out of direct vision of everyone else. And she's trying to hunch down, but it's not really working because she's an Asamir, and they're, approximately your size, except she's got these great big glowing wings in the back in her case.
My assumption is she's going to eat your ass like groceries. But moving on.
Oh, boy.
Palsier has a lot to say at this point, and he is going to kind of put his hands on the table. All right, there has been a general request that we all share information because we're all on the same ship, and if the ship goes down, we are going to have a bad time. I am more than welcome to start. But if anyone else would like to start, they are welcome to do so.
Dargo looks over at the very excited Rose and goes, I guess you're as good as anyone at this point. Go ahead, Rose.
My name is Rose. I follow Salune.
I'm an alcoholic. Welcome, Rose.
What do you want to know? I'm an open book.
Dargo's going to look over at you, Palsier, and go, you can have your turn. She went first. Relax. We'll come back to you. Mr. Needy. And he's go, yes, the I would say diminutive, but you're not very small for a woman. You're wearing a lot of plate mail, and it makes you look very large for your stature, and it's kind of unnerving.
Palsier's just like, no, do not say that she looks large. That is a bad call.
Am I intimidating?
I mean, to other people you might be, not to me. It's just unusual to see. I'm used to clerics more in robes, not so much full armor.
Oh,
Good save. Good save.
okay. Well, I don't know. I'm kind of prone to accidents, so I figured it would be best for everyone if I just wore armor.
Fair enough. Well, as long as we're trying to get, open the air a bit, as it were. How about we start with, can you give us why did you even decide to tag along? No one's really filled me in much on why you're here.
I was just minding my own business, and then these guys, right? They were like harassing me and just saying some very unsavory things. And
Not me. Not me. That was not me.
Anyway, I don't really remember what happened, but we got kicked out of a bar, and then they said they needed me, so I was like, okay, because this kind of stuff happens to me all the time. I just kind of happen upon stuff, and then I just kind of join groups. And then my goddess is like, hey, you should totally stick with these people. You're on the right path. So,
He's going to raise a finger and go, yeah, you said your goddess. Yeah, about that. It seems like we have a lot of divinity stuff going on, more so than I'm used to, and I consider myself fairly well-traveled. Do you care to explain? Is yours more of a you feel her general area, or is this more like the big glowing guy we have hovering by the crystal towards the engine room?
well, she did take over that giantess. And she talked to me.
What?
Yeah. It was so exciting, guys. I was like, oh. It's great.
Talos here is just gonna kind of face palm and just, I can't.
And she said, you're bad news.
Yeah.
I
That's
can agree
okay.
with that.
I can change you. Said
Yeah.
every woman ever.
Yeah. I can change him. He's got a good heart underneath it all.
Well, Rose, that being said, what is your intention with the group? Like, I know you said normal. This is normal. Part of the course for you is to join random groups and kind of go along with the flow. But as far as ours, what is your main goal with us?
To do as my goddess willed. Like, I just kind of go and do as she commands or leads me. I usually just kind of like turn in a circle, pick a direction, and go.
Well, is part of it because we're going to the Crown City, or is it just she pointed you in these general people, included myself?
I don't remember.
Okay. We'll go around in the circle. He looks over at Null next and goes, Null. And Null is busy scratching in a book. And he looks up at Dargo and goes, hi. My name's Null. As you've known, I kind of keep to myself. I'm originally from the Underdark. I did have a family at one point I was very close with. We're traders by nature. I build things, as you've seen by the puppet, and I do have a goddess. I'm not really sure if I'm following her or she's following me. I just recently encountered her. I'm still trying to figure this out.
Encountered in what way?
She, back when we were attacked by the large, when we were in the manor with the two deities that showed up, the one in the black armor, after she was pretty successful in almost ending us, she actually appeared before me, and I think she's the reason why I'm alive. I'm not sure the rest of you.
If I may take the podium at the moment, has everyone here been visited by some sort of deity? Because that is extremely unusual.
Says
Not
who?
me.
So, most people have faith in their deity of choice.
Well, Null
It's-
raises his hand again and goes, I didn't even know mine was a deity until I spoke with her. So,
And it's like that. You have faith in some sort of patron or higher being or deity, and you assume they're real and assume they have power to assist you. Most people do not have contact with the one that they pledge their allegiance to. It is extremely rare. And the fact that it seems that most of us here have had contact with a higher being of some sort is extremely unusual.
Maybe it has something to do with one of the followers.
Dargo, he puts his hands on each side of him, stands up slightly and goes, that being said, I haven't encountered any goddess, god, deity, or otherwise. And I personally, well, that was dragged on by you all. I had nothing to do with that until he appeared with you.
As far as you know.
I don't have any recollection of a blue glowing man in any time of my life up till we got here. That being said, this is actually the first time I've always heard of the faith because of people like you, Rose, with the temples and the followers of Sulune or Tur or the various other religious figures. But I haven't really, up till now, actually encountered an actual deity in physical form. So, to me, this is
unusual.
This is unusual. And that's why I wanted to have this sit down, is because I feel like we kind of need to air some things out. Because personally, I'm tired of being surprised by this. Because while you guys have been out and about, I haven't just stayed on the ship. I've explored around, which, by the way, Palsier, once we come to you, I'll explain some things to you as well. But that being said, Null, are you done? Null's going to look and go, yeah, I mean, I've got some other things, but it's more family-oriented, and that I don't believe it has anything to do with. I've told you about the fact that I used to have a family. They sadly were killed.
Where, dude?
Oh, that blows.
Yay.
They
All
were
right,
murdered.
moving on.
So Null's going to sit down, and Dargo's going to look around and goes, Fleck, you've been fairly quiet through this conversation. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
I'm here to make friends.
Can we be besties?
No.
Yeah.
All of this, no. Fleck, do detail how you encountered the blue entity initially, and you came across giant bones that gave you special power. And please go into detail so I don't have to try to regale from my own memory.
Oh, this
I don't know what you're talking about, man. No, we the last time how I remember it happening is I was getting kicked out of a bar. I met these two, and then we got into some trouble, and then something happened, and then we met Cadmus, and then I touched the giant bones. Yeah, that's about as far as I got.
Wow, you are very helpful.
Yep.
Giant bones? What? Dargo's very...
They were... So Palace here is going to remember more about this interaction than I will because it happened more recently for him. But regardless, Palace here is going to regale how we were in this like crystal chamber, kind of, and there were giant bones in the middle, and that's when we encountered Cadmus, and Fleck was kind of chosen-ish. But I feel like Palace here didn't experience some of it.
No, you wouldn't have experienced what actually... You would have seen him touch the bones and they would start glowing and then faded away, is what would have happened.
Palace here is going to detail as much as he can.
Did you feel
I've had
anything
quite a-
when you touched
I've
it?
had quite a few drinks and shenanigans since then.
It's true. Haven't we all?
Oh, Dargo looks
All I know is
around.
we need to get to the capital city because my liege wills it.
Your liege is whom?
Out of character. We never came up with a name for him. I just realized that. But he's an elven lord that was in charge of the area where I grew up, where the monastery that I grew up in resides. I'm actually a sentinel in his royal court.
The liegiest.
But I received a vision from said liege stating that we need to hastily make our way to the capital. I have my doubts that it was him. I also feel there might be something fishy going on, but I can't render what.
Dargo's gonna sit back a little bit. All right. Well, since you guys seem to, as far as I can tell, you're being up front with me. Well, all of you except we have one more person to go over, which is probably the most fishy out of you. Palisier.
Finger guns.
Wait.
Huh,
Can
Rose.
anybody cast a truth spell?
I plan on being very forthcoming.
I don't know.
As far as I know, all of you have very pure motives to assist at this point.
Well, Palisier, to explain the earlier conversation you and me had before, the reason I was able to conjure up the figure that you saw was because when I was down at the Giants Village, the rest of you left, I decided to follow. Take a look around myself, as it were, because I got tired of being on the ship.
And he didn't think out of character, and he didn't think to fucking help.
Well, you guys ran out of the village, and I just...
No, Fleck wouldn't have said that. Fleck is pretty just unattentive about the whole thing. Me personally, Aaron, yeah, fuck that guy. What the hell?
Well, the night that the party was going on, I heard your voice, and I decided to follow and see who you're talking to. And while I couldn't hear someone else talking, I was able to see through one of the small holes near the window. I did see that figure that was standing in front of you. I didn't hear him talking, but I did see him.
The figure that you conjured is the same as the figure that you saw?
Yes.
Ah, yes. So, that is, and I'm sure that some of you have heard this name before, that was the figure of Asmodeus.
Can I roll religion?
You may.
Do a click.
Do a clicking
I don't know.
concern.
Yes, and if you roll high enough, you will also do a concern. A heckin' concern.
I don't think Fleck would know anything about Asmodeus.
Fleck, you would actually. Oh, boy, you are very concerned, Rose.
Yes.
You know exactly who that is. Based on your studies when you were in the temple, you definitely have come across and discussed with some of the other followers of Selune the name Asmodeus. You know he is the great lord of the hells. He is the great deceiver. He is a fallen protector of the gods at one point, and he controls, all of the levels of hell, to the point where all of the various warring factions, while they don't like him and would love to kill him, they can't do anything to him.
No, they can't, because he is the bestest.
And by bestest, he's the worstest.
The worstest, yes.
So Rose is going to be like, you follow who?
So, I can explain. There's a lot to this. So when I was a itty bitty child, just a toddler, really, I was kidnapped by the cult of Asmodeus, who then raised me to be a follower of Asmodeus, and they tortured me constantly, and trained me to be a wielder of his power. And Palliser is going to kind of conjure a little bit of fire, just like, see, this is not mine. It's Asmodeus.
I'm just throwing holy water on it.
It's not.
Get it out of here.
Doesn't do anything.
It does nothing to him, Rose. You are just getting him very damp right now.
Palliser is just like, thank you. Regardless, the fact that Asmodeus gives me my power is not the issue. Although it is an issue.
You don't say.
The issue that we are currently dealing with is so the cult that I was raised in, I kind of got angry with them, as one would, right? Because they tortured me all the time. I may have lit them all on fire, kind of a lot, and I assumed they were all dead. But when I escaped with a couple of the tomes from the cult of Asmodeus to study for knowledge, apparently a couple of them survived. One of them being the librarian, one of them being my former instructor. They are extremely powerful, and they have charged me with bringing members into the cult for them to train. And if I don't, they will kill all of us, and they are very capable of doing so.
I need to pray.
Pal's here is just going to kind of clear his throat. Just
Dargo gets up and he starts pulling out of his bag of holding and setting in front of everyone different cups, and he pulls out this very large glass bottle and just starts pouring this deep amber liquid into everyone's cups, including his own, and he goes, just chugs the entire thing, sets it down, refills it, and goes, so.
Pal's here is going to pick up his glass, just, I don't care what it is, gulp it down, slam it on
It burns like fire. It is very strong.
Pal's here has been burned by fire and is unfazed by this drink.
Fleck would like another.
He pours you a second glass, Fleck.
Pal's here is going to hold up his hand. He's good.
I'm passing mine to Fleck as well. My stomach is not in the right state to be drinking.
Mm.
The cleric, she can't.
Dargo goes, all right. Well, bar the fact that I'm with... He looks at Rose and goes, deep follower, as I can tell, looks at Null. A Underdark runaway, if I were to assume from what you've told me, looks up at you, Fleck, and goes, a very drunk sentinel? And looks over at you, Palestine, and goes, a heretic. I guess it would be my turn then, because in all of this, I really haven't told you much about myself.
And please do.
As you are aware, I am a half-orc. I am the offspring of a raiding party. My mother was captured and was used for breeding purposes, which is how I came about.
Yeah.
I'm from one of the roving war bands. My father would have killed me. He was the second in command of our chieftain, except that my mother begged him not to. And as I began to grow older and showed that I was less than apt at the raiding parties, I've never been while I am good at close quarters over time, at the time I didn't have a penchant for bloodshed. The chieftain eventually took me under his wing when he figured out that I could perform magic.
Big magic.
Mostly through my music. I'm a bard, as it were.
Interesting.
The reason the scar you see on my face was given to me by my father, who thought it was a running, wonderful, clever joke of his to call me two-tone because of my mixed heritage. And so decided to carve that message into my face, which is why I have this. And he runs his fingers over the jagged scar that runs down his nose over his chin. Kimp has been a traveling mercenary up till she passed. She rescued me. She came on a set of orders to take care of one of the war tribes that had been causing trouble. Mine. When I had been asleep in the tent and hearing the sound of carnage and coming outside, I saw that she had finished killing the rest of them. And walking forward, she drew her blade on me and I asked her to kill me. And she decided, based on the look on my face, that I needed more help than I needed death. She saved me. And since then, she taught me sword fighting and instead of the brutal war fighting style of my tribe. If it wasn't for her, I'd be dead. And I learned a lot from her. I learned how to barter, I learned how to find information, and I learned that I actually have a brain in my head, which the family I had never saw to nurture. They thought that as a half-orc I was meant to kill things. That was it. So,
Palace here is going to kind of look solemnly at him and just go, well, I wish all of us had had a savior as you did. Some of us had to save ourselves.
I was lucky.
I am sorry that the one that saved you fell as she did.
That would explain where my rage came from. Which, to this day, the reason I apologize to you all for that is I acknowledge my background, but I'm still not proud of it. I take pride in a lot of things. I take pride in my ability to find things that other people can't, to blend in with the crowd, as I'm sure you remember. I don't really like the more guttural side of myself.
Palace here is going to kind of cock his head and just say, well, if it's useful, accept it. If it's not, don't. We are not at a place where we can ignore our gifts because they don't come easily to our personality.
Right. You are right about that. But I figured it was about time, since we've been together for several weeks at this point, and in the short time we have been, we've been through quite a bit. I can't say that we'll be together forever because I'm not sure how much longer I'd like to live on the ship, but you haven't actively tried to make my lives difficult. Just some of the choices you guys have made, I don't understand how some of you are alive, honestly. It doesn't... I'm well practiced at it, and I've had very close encounters that were not nearly as hair-raising as some of the ones you have gone through.
Quite so.
That being said, I think this has been a good thing. I also think that we need to continue to keep each other in the loop if we're going to keep working with one another.
Oh! Okay. Together.
Yes, the excited redhead in the corner there.
My goddess has blessed me. I'm blessed. I can call upon her for guidance.
Dargo's going to raise an eyebrow and be like, care to explain?
I pray to her, and she helps me in whatever way she can. I can't really remember. Can you, help Rose's memory?
You will have to, in this case, the item in question is going to be your necklace. You have to be touching your necklace to use this ability. It is Sulune's Grace, and what it allows you to do is it comes with 3 charges. You may ask one question about an event, an item, a person. Be as detailed as you can. Try to keep it within about 3 sentences or so. And as long as it's within the power or it's not such a broad question, then Sulune may grace you with a vision, as it were. So that's what your ability is. The charges, by the way, come back once a week, and you have to roll a D6, and if you get a 1 to 2, you get 1 charge, 3 to 4, 2 charges, or if you get a 5 to 6, you get all 3 charges back. You can't do more. If you get to the week, at the end of the week, and you haven't used any, sorry, you have your original charges.
Doesn't roll over, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. She just said all that.
Sure, okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
So, I have this grace within me that I could use to help.
Palisier is going to kind of cock his head and just, there are very, very many people that think they hear from deities that are wrong. But given our circumstances and what we've experienced and the fact that we were guided to you, I honestly don't doubt that what you're saying is true.
Dargo's going to look up a little bit and go, do you have any proof you could provide us with, or is there any questions any of us may have? I can think of about 1,000 right now of things I'd like to know, but is there anything we collectively need to know?
Maybe why we as a particular group are brought together?
Why have we been chosen?
That might be a good start.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
Not why we have been chosen. That is less relevant. What we have been chosen to accomplish is more relevant.
Okay.
Dargo's going to look at you. He's going to look around the table, look at Null. Null, is there anything? Null looks and goes, no, it sounds like a good idea to me. Fleck, any input on this?
Fleck's going to hold his cup out for another drink.
Dargo sighs, picks up the the glass again, pours you another.
Fleck agrees.
So I need to be as specific as possible, but concise.
Correct.
I'm bad with words. But Rose would be better.
What have we, and then list our names, have been chosen by the divines to accomplish?
All right. Rose is touching her necklace, and she's saying that.
Rose, as you grab your necklace and you speak the words, you feel these arms wrap around your shoulders, and you feel a whisper in your ear, "This way, my child."
Stop it.
Now, you guys, if you could see this, would remember this. Rose, what you see is you see this long, drawn-out viewpoint of the planet of Perseus. And you zoom in, and as you get close to the continent, you see just war. All-out war between all of these different races. You see demons, giants, warforged, humans, elves. There's just explosions of magic, airships in the air just blasting beams of energy, portals opening and closing. It is hell on earth, literally. It is just creatures and magic and just all manner of terrible things. And as you get closer in on this vision, you see off in the distance this glowing kind of half orb on the ground. As you zoom in closer, you see all these masses of just various of these warring factions charging into the shield and getting blasted back. And you see rushing through and just knocking force left and right, these 5 figures rushing forward. You just see their outlines. You don't see them directly. You can't see any detail. And you see 3 of them hit the shield immediately. As they do, they reach in and they start tearing the first layer open. There's 3 layers. As the first 2 hold it open, the one in the middle runs forward and he takes this glowing sword, cuts straight downward, and rips the second one. It shatters apart. The third shield in the center, the last 2 run forward, while the other one looks at his sword, which is now glowing this deep, dark black, and he drops it on the ground. The other 2 rush forward and they start trying to rip the shield apart. And one of them, you see his hands glowing. You can tell they're both male figures. One, his hands are starting to blister and crack apart, and you see the energy racing up his arms, up his neck, and cracking. Pieces of his face are flaking away and just pulling. And the third one, a familiar glowing blue figure, crashes through, and the scene you see in front of you are 6 figures. All dressed in black robes, all holding a different weapon, glowing black with these lines of purple energy running through them, raising their hands up over a bright glowing figure with 4 wings, looking very almost like dragonfly wings, who is held down by these dark tentacles and tendrils of energy wrapping his arms and legs. And you hear the figure scream no as the blades are brought down and dissect him into pieces. The figure, the glowing blue one, grabs the head as it rolls away and dashes back to the shield. As he dashes through, you hear this collective scream of no from the 6 robed figures. And you are thrown backwards as you see these deep lines of energy rip across the world of Perseus. And the continents that used to be a part of the planet itself begin to rip apart from the planet and raise into the now floating continents that you all are familiar with. And you are back in your body, back in your chair.
Oh. Okay.
So from our perspective, I assume we see her just go, hey, what's the answer to this question? Boom.
You see her sitting there for a couple seconds and she's mumbling to herself, and you do notice that the necklace she has, the symbol for Selune, is, you see it slightly glowing in her hand. And then all of a sudden, Rose, what would your general reaction be from this?
Whoa.
Palisier is going to recognize that reaction as, I just encountered a whole lot of shit that I was not ready for, because Palisier's been there. And he's just going to go, all right, easy. What did you see? Yeah. All right, so while she processes this,
a war. There were 6 figures fighting to get to something or someone.
Palisier's going to look at Fleck and Null and just kind of nod like, we've seen that shit.
They had these glowing swords. And there was this cataclysm. And it tore the world apart.
It was all a dream.
I think it was the world before how it is now.
Final Fantasy 16, yep.
See, I was picturing like some Star Wars shit.
Alistair said that shit, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is Final Fantasy 60?"
And all of a sudden, collectively, all of your heads just.
No. No, so Palliser is going to turn to Fleck
campaign,
and
guys.
just go, well, she's in it now.
What does that mean?
We have all been shown something similar.
Some crazy shit.
You weren't there initially, but you've seen it now.
Now you in this shit.
Now
Dargo is looking very confused by all of this.
Dargo hasn't seen it yet.
Palliser is going to turn towards Dargo and just go, we've all been chosen for something, and we are all very different from each other.
Phileas is in the corner just looking very concerned.
Palliser is also looking concerned.
Dargo raises his hand and goes, I have something to add to this now that you've brought that up.
Go on.
He's going to walk over and he's going to go against the wall where all of the various maps and books are kept. And he grabs one particular map and he goes, I kept this. This was my personal map. I added it for Phileas to look over and I noticed something. And he rolls it out. And it's the continent of Selenil. And he goes, Phileas, come here. And Phileas kind of wanders over, and she's looking very squeamish about this whole thing. And he goes, show me where Emfral is. And she gets this confused look and goes, Emfral? Yes, show me where Emfral is. And he points at the map and puts his finger directly on a marked portion of the map that says Emfral. This right here. And she goes, Dargo, there's nothing there.
Palliser is going to kind of get excited for a second. Just go, I knew it. I knew it. I don't know what it is I knew, but something is wrong with the fact that people don't remember Emfral.
Dargo grabs your mouth and closes it with his hand and goes, shh, for a second. Phileas, if you could just leave us for a minute. And she goes, I would love to. And just turns around and just skedaddles out the doors really quick. He lets go of you and rolls the map back up and puts it away and goes, this is the main reason I wanted to. Yesterday, I was going over the maps with her, and I brought this up. This is not the first time, by the way, I've asked people about Emfral, because when we got to Castle Cress, I asked around. Nobody's heard of this city. You know, the city that had the giant festival, all the airships, the big development capital.
Opened up on and just shit upon the world.
Exactly. That's what my point is. For whatever reason, no one I've spoken to knows what I'm talking about, including our newest members. Certain people outside of this current group at the table have no idea that this city, the people that were in it, this massive chunk out of the size of this mountain even existed. You know, one of the main repositories of the Aether material. That's what the city is known for. It's known for, that's why I was there, is for the Aether Stone.
Does Rose remember this place?
Rose, you would remember this place.
Okay.
So Palliser is just going to kind of be nodding the whole time, just like, yes, yes. So we brought it up before, and I thought it was odd that people wouldn't know of this city. It's like people not knowing of any other major city. People know about these places.
It would be like the Empire just disappearing off the face of the world. Yes.
Quite.
This place was well known, and while I was traveling. The other thing I can't figure out is, why is it us? Why you guys are the ones that can see the gods, and for whatever reason, I can see Cadmus too. but no one else acknowledges it. I've seen him floating around the villages. He just appears, no one recognizes him. No one sees him. He can't really interact with anyone, but he can interact with you all. He still can't interact with me. I can see him, I can talk with him, but unlike you guys, I can't touch him.
It is
from a different
a
time.
quandary.
So, Rose is going to stand up and go find him and drag him to the meeting.
Let's all roll for meta knowledge.
You find him standing by the crystal, and he's talking to the AI.
I'm just grabbing him by his collar. I'm like, come with me.
He doesn't budge at all. You grab him, and you just kind of...
Like,
He turns and looks at you and goes, yes, Rose, how can I help you?
okay, I'll try that again. Sorry, I got really excited.
Okay.
Can you please come with me?
I don't see why not. Sure. And he begins floating behind you.
All right, bring him back in there.
He's inside and kind of looking at all of you. He's just standing right about here.
We have some questions.
You have some questions. We've already asked them, but go ahead.
Oh,
Cadmus just looks from face to face, just, okay.
you know why we can see you and touch you and what are you?
Well, as far as the other three, it's because those were the ones that I was meant to wait for. As far as you and Dargo are concerned, I'm not sure why, one, Dargo can see me, and you actually are able to actually physically touch me. That's what's strange. I'm still trying to figure that out myself with the two of you all. The three of you, it's because I knew that, well, there were going to be three. I don't know who else was meant to come along with. I thought it was just three when I originally was having my visions, but...
So Palantir is going to turn to Rose and just go, so he doesn't know anything. You are now on the same page as the rest of us.
How close are you with Salune?
He looks, raises his eyebrows and goes, Salune. That would be one of the newer gods or goddesses. I'm not familiar with them.
I thought you would be more useful. Sorry for dragging you away. I don't really know.
He kind of lowers his eyebrows and goes, okay. Is there anything else, or can...
Do you guys have any questions?
No, he knows as much as we do. He's trying to regain his memories, and if he regains his memories, he usually tells us, and then we're all on the same page.
Ooh, what can we do to help you? Like, what usually, triggers a memory?
Sky holes opening in the fucking air.
He goes, the only thing I've been familiar with, aside from when I actually got to meet them and impart my mark to bless them, was really just when I had this and they saw it. And he raises it, he puts his hand and it passes into his chest, and he raises, and you see the image of a glowing head in his hand just sitting there. You recognize it as the head that you saw the figure in your vision grab and dash back out of the shield with.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Okay. Wait, what mark?
He waves his hand as he does your various marks. If I remember correctly, Fleck, yours was on your chest.
Yep.
Null's was on the side of his face, and Palantir, yours was on your shoulder. That's right.
Does she get one?
She wasn't a part of my vision, so, and as I've said, I don't have a lot of my original power left. I don't know where it went, but I'm sorry, I don't have the ability to grace anyone else.
What are the marks for you?
So Palantir is going to turn to Rose and just go, very sexist. I don't, this just seems like it's, coming down on your whole gender.
Why do you talk?
Why do you talk?
Cadmus is going to look and go, unless you have any more questions, I don't know how else to help you.
Not that I can think of.
What he has told us and what we are currently attempting to do is, and this is going to sound so trite, we are trying to save the world. The people that you saw, I assume the people that you saw in your vision that we also saw, are trying to destroy everything. And I generally like several of the things that we currently have on our world, myself included. So we are trying to stop them from destroying everything. It really doesn't do anybody any good to destroy everything. I never understand when that's people's motive, you know?
You need more hugs. You're too...
Thanks.
You need love.
Yeah.
I will give you love.
No, I don't need... No, all of that. Once we...
Group hug!
Group hug! What's that?
Nope. Palasir's gonna just go, nope, and just kind of start walking.
Dargo gets up, comes up behind Palasir, and just wraps his arms around him and goes, see, we're family now.
You need hugs. You need love.
Group
That'll heal your heart.
Palasir just, I want to light all of you on fire so much.
Cadmus goes, I'm gonna go.
Cadmus, hug us.
Cadmus,
Fuck
get in
you,
here.
you ethereal bastard.
Hug us.
And with that, Cadmus kind of sinks through the floor and disappears.
I'm gonna give him a hug later.
Palasir, just teach me that. Teach me.
Dargo lets go and he shuffles back and pushes everyone back and goes, okay, all right, now that we've had our fun.
Our fun.
I genuinely don't know what to do with it. This seems a lot to unpack, as it were. And
wait, you still follow Asmodeus?
And to me, I feel almost like in the grand scheme of things, I may be expendable. And I don't really care for that feeling. I don't know what exactly any of this is leading to. But we are going to the capital city. There is the religious quarter. Maybe we can find some old information there. There is the Magister's quarter. I know that that exists there. There's a section for warlocks, sorcerers, and wizards. We might be able to... I know they kind of sequester themselves, and I know especially with the warlocks and the sorcerers that they're more guarded with their libraries, but maybe you, Palasir, can possibly get us in there. I can talk to the wizards. I have my ways. And he winks at everyone. That being said, I think we need to tread carefully. Because I genuinely think this is a little bit bigger than we're getting the information for.
A little bit bigger. We are all being contacted by deities.
Rose, is there... Do any of you have any idea? You said that how many... Are you able to do this ability more than once, or...
I can do it like 3 times a week, and then I can get charges back after some time.
Can anyone think of any other... I mean...
As far as I know, she's not actually hearing from a deity, but it may be true. She saw a vision, and it lines up with what we've seen thus far.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is you guys just verified she's not talking out of her magical ass. I'm just... At this point, you're seeing Dargo. He's starting to crack a little bit from his normal bravado. He's like...
No. Deep breath.
He breathes. He goes, Look. All right. Just saying. You guys basically just dropped this magical bomb in the center of where I'm standing, and I'm just kind of trying to hang on for literal dear life here. And he sits down in his chair and he tilts it backwards and leans against the table and goes, pours himself another glass, drains the glass, and then he just starts drinking from the actual bottle, and then sets it down and goes, okay. Does anyone have any other questions that we can ask the supposed... I'm assuming glowing, since every person aside from your whatever he is, Palasier, it seems to be this glowing person.
That's because he lost his grace.
Yeah.
Rose, focus!
You'll have
Flex
to
gonna
forgive
pull
me
out
for
his Venus crest and slam it down on the table. We need to go.
Dargo
to the main
jumps.
City. That's it.
Okay, I get that, Fleck. And he taps you on your thigh and goes, Fleck. I get that. I do understand that. But I have to get the ship moving again for us to do that. In the meantime...
Wait.
Yes, Rose.
You should ask Salune where we should go first when we get there.
Don't we already have guidance on that?
Do we?
We're going to the city and...
Yeah, but we can get a little bit more specific, I guess.
Well, we didn't have to get more specific last time, because last time we went back to the town following our glowing footsteps, and you proceeded to whack people with a mace, and it was very obvious.
Dargo, once again, very confused look on his face.
Going to the
Palsier's just going to look at him and just go, oh, I have no pity for you. I am the one that has to actually deal with the king of all the hells.
Yeah, do you worship him? What?
Worship is such a strong word. I do his bidding because otherwise he wraps me in barbed wire and throws me around.
Dargo gets out of his chair and sits in your lap, Fleck, and goes, can I have a hug?
Yes.
He's just gonna hug kind of halfway around your chest on the fact you're a very large man, and just be like, he's just talking to himself. It'll be okay. Don't worry, you got this. You'll be in the city soon. You can ask questions, and you can get away from all this zaniness.
It's like he's a king. If you don't do what he says, and it's not like you necessarily pledge your allegiance to him. It's that you have to.
Then why not become a
martyr? If you don't do what he says, then you die a lot.
Then seek grace and become a martyr. It's for the greater good.
Everything is so simple to you because you're so simple.
You think so highly of yourself.
I think so lowly of everyone else.
You need to.
There's a difference.
Then what's wrong with you? Other than you have self-esteem issues, obviously.
I don't like getting lit on fire and wrapped in barbed wire, and I try and avoid this. That is my almost my only goal.
That seems like a very specific example, Palasier.
It is very specific, and I don't want to experience it again. So, moving on.
Dargo hops off of Fleck's lap and go, no, seriously. While we've got this magical individual here that seems to be able, we get, I guess, genie it up, as it were, with the proverbial magic lamp. Are there any other questions we feel like we may need immediately? I personally like the idea of maybe some direction on, we're going to a massive city. A little bit of directions might be useful.
I'm going to ask directions.
Wouldn't hurt.
For
we're going to the Magister's quarters. That's where my liege has told us to go. We need to be careful because it might be a trap.
Or search for.
Individual guidance is surprisingly wise.
I know where I'm going.
Know where I would like to go.
All right.
Individual guidance.
Salune, I seek guidance for each member of my party. For Palasier and Fweck and Nal and even Dargo.
Please insert 1 quarter per person.
Just because he seems to be involved in this as well. as well as myself, where should we each individually go first? Who should we seek out?
You feel the necklace warm in your hand.
Let's go deal with whatever the fuck that was.
You hear
but it's apocalypse upstairs right now.
I can hear that. As you feel the necklace warm, you get a general outline of the city, and you return back to your body.
I probably said too much.
Super helpful. Well, let's get to the city.
That was a setup by the DM.
No, I gave you the rules. I gave you all of the rules. I told you.
And tweaked them later.
No, I said keep it short, keep it concise. If you're not concise and you don't get, the narrower you make it, the more detail you get. If you make it very broad, you're going to get a very broad answer.
I only got one left.
Yep, that was a charge, and this is what I tried to, this is why this was like my warning. Like, if you make a very broad question...
Well, Jason, I have brain issues.
That's not my problem.
Okay.
Fleck knows where he's going.
Alright.
Fleck
I'm just
does
gonna
not
go
require
for me,
guidance.
because I got the one. Lune, where should I go once I get to the city to find who I need
Castellion.
to continue my quest?
This time, the same warm feeling comes over you. The necklace glows in your hand. You get a clear vision of the city, and as you do, there are 3 buildings within the city that, as it pans around, glow. You see one glow, and you see it is glowing in the northern part of the merchants area. You see one that is in the Wizard's Keep, and you see one in the royal capital area in the center of the city, in the main castle, where the council is kept. And you can see as the glow continues, there is, within the merchants area, there's 2 that are glowing white within the general yellow area of the northern part of the merchants. There's one glowing figure that's moving around in the Magister's area, and it looks like instead of being in the Wizards, it's actually in the Warlocks area. And the one in the Royal Capital, as far as the Council's area, the Council's area is huge, and you can't, without being inside, actually getting inside, you can't see. You realize it's in probably the center of the actual castle itself. But there are a total of 3 places, but 4 figures walking around in these 3 places. 2 in the merchants area, 1 in the warlocks area of the Magister's Quarter, and 1 in the council's keep. And you return back to where you were sitting.
Wait, are we at the place?
No, I was
like
having
opening
a vision.
Quit having visions.
Setting
All
a
right.
waypoint.
I'm going to reiterate all that.
Set that waypoint.
So Danny had some
Fast
visions.
travel.
Yes, there are 2 people somewhere in the northern part of the Merchants Guild area. There's 1 person in the Magister's area, which happens to be around the Warlocks section of it. And then there's 1 person to seek out in the Council Center, in the Castle Keep.
Dibs. Dibs on Magister Quarter Warlock person.
Well, here's the question. Should we all seek out
I'm
each
going to
one
the Royal Quarter.
or individually?
Yeah.
Because what if we run into trouble?
Let's split up the party. We're gonna have a really bad fucking time.
It's okay. I can run really, really fast.
Gonna go fast.
I can Misty Step.
30 feet. 30 feet.
And
Yeah, dog, I
then
run
can use
faster
the
than
dash
you, Misty
action.
Step.
He actually, Fleck literally runs faster than you, Misty Step.
I think we should
Like
stick
normal,
together
not
because we were
dash.
brought together as a group.
Null's gonna go. Look, as far as I'm concerned, I would prefer to stick with at least one of you. If the entire party stays together, I feel like it might be safer. Especially since I was warned by my deity that the same people that killed my family might be still looking for me.
Oh, great. So we have more people trying to kill at least one of us. It's not just me. Yay!
Just saying. I mean,
I don't know. I don't disagree. I
So,
just that in certain circumstances, one of us maybe should take the lead in talking to whomever these
we should
individuals are.
visit all of the areas that have glowing white spots. However, I will provide that there could quite
Dargo is
possibly be
pulling
a trap.
paper out and he starts writing down, okay, so it was here, 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 and here. He folds it up and hands it to Palseer and goes, you think this might be a good idea?
I think it's an excellent idea.
Let's go to it.
I think we should visit the Magister's place first, and then go to whatever we do. We should visit the Royal Council last because there may or may not be a trap waiting.
Why?
I don't disagree. I do not disagree.
Why
Royal Council, anytime you deal with royalty, it has the potential for going very, 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 very poorly.
No, I specifically received a vision from my liege, and when I stared into his astral self, he wasn't like he normally is, which leads me to be suspicious.
I don't know what anything you just said has to do with anything, but
I can stare
Okay.
down people, and I know what you all are fucking thinking, because I'm big. You all can't. So when you squirm in my gaze, I know what the fuck is up.
Because I'm big. That's the name of this episode, because I'm big.
I see your receding hairline, and I know that you're lying because of
Like,
it.
hey man, you look really fucking stressed right now. What the deal is?
All right, Dargo's going to go, all right, look. How about we think about it this way?
'Cause I'm big.
Let's sit down and think about this in the smart way. Normally, I would say the council is completely out of the way for the simple fact of it's the council. They don't know who any of us are, except we do have Fleck. Fleck says that he is a sentinel of one of the elvish houses, so he might be able to talk his way in.
I got me.
I can tell you right now, the Magister's area, the Warlocks are going to be very hard to access. Palisade, you could probably get us into the Sorcerer's area, I think.
I can.
Or are you... Actually, now that I think about it, Palisade, and Dargo looks at you and goes, what magic are you? You said you had a patron.
What spooky magic?
I
do you
draw
use?
my power from Asmodeus himself. I am known as a warlock by trade.
Okay, at that point, he looks around and goes, okay, never mind. Scratches that off of the list he's writing down and goes, they said that Rose said that there's potentially someone in the Warlocks area. You might be able to get us in there. So we have two potential ins. I would say probably the easiest is going to be the merchants. Number one, there's two people that we could potentially find. And two, it's going to be the biggest toss-up. It might have the least amount of gain, but there's two people involved there. And it's the merchants area. Surely, I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to.
I can talk my way into anything.
We might be able to get
Merchant-
2 birds with 1 stone going to the merchants area.
Merchant Magister Royal.
Up to you all. I know where I'm headed. I have some contacts I have to reach out to and call in some favors. So we're going to say unavailable because I'm going to turn my comm off because I don't want anyone thinking that I'm dropping information out on them.
Interesting.
Question. Would you prefer me be yelling into the comm, help, 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 because somebody figured out I had somebody talking to me through an earpiece?
Whatever
Yes.
you think, you've survived this long. You're a big boy. If you feel like you need our help, I trust that you'll find a way to ask for it.
Exactly. You guys debate amongst yourselves. I'm going to go get the ship ready. And he gets up and goes, unless there's anything else you'd like to talk to me about.
2020. Killed
Okay.
everybody.
Side note, not game related. Ruth Bader just died.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg
Oh,
just bit it. 2020 has killed everybody.
that's true. But
Thankfully, no one gets to be put into the Supreme Court right now. They can't do it on a close to election.
I'm not game political right now. Let's leave it alone. There's enough danger in the game.
I'm not saying.
That being said, anybody got anything for Dargo? Because if not, he's going to retire to the engine room to start making preparations for you all to leave.
Just gonna go, always a pleasure, and kind of glare at him just a little bit.
He's just going to give you a big cheeseball grin and go, of course, and get up, pat Fleck on the back, and, he's sitting down, so he could probably get, like, midway up the back and go, good to see you as usual, Fleck, and just walk through the doors.
Yeah. And Dargo are buds.
So what are you all doing while he's prepping?
Well, this sit-down has socially drained Flex, so he's probably going to go take a long nap.
Fleck's an introvert. Palsier's an extrovert. He's feeling great.
Flex actually he's pretty extroverted, but I don't know.
Rose is just gonna look at Palestine and be like, "So have you tried to maybe follow another god?"
Do you understand how bad of an idea that is?
I mean, wait, how involved is he with your day-to-day life?
Did you understand when I said he wrapped me in barbed wire that was not effective?
Well, I mean, if the bad guy is spying on us right now, like, I need to know that.
See, bad guy is such a strong terminology. No, he is super bad.
He's 100% a bad dude.
I'm not going to argue with that. No, he can hear everything I say. You're just going to have to deal.
Can you hear what I say? Fleck asks.
Maybe. I don't know.
Can you hear what I say to you?
He could if he wanted to. He's like,
Well, can he?
he's a god. What do you want? Like, I don't know the limits of like what he's doing at every moment.
What
Like,
if
come
we
on.
give you like a chalkboard and you only ever write in chalk to answer our questions?
I am not going to shut up ever.
Fleck's gonna break out a Ouija board out of fucking nowhere.
I'm sorry. Is that in your forest giant starting items set? Just
Yes.
I get a Ouija board to talk
Ouija
to
board,
Asmodeus.
neat. Oh, Ouija board, neat.
I don't know how comfortable I am.
I don't know how comfortable I am. Welcome to the party. Palsier's
pretty
gonna go
comfy.
back to his room.
All right. Well, you guys, so
Fleck might need some emotional healing.
Fleck
From the bug.
from a bug.
Palsier might need some emotional healing for the bug. From the bug.
Sexual healing.
Can the bugs provide emotional support?
No,
No.
they cannot provide some emotional support.
To you.
Wait, can they like give massages? That can help with mental,
They do pecking.
Danny, they are not a
What about what's the pokey thing? Like they put pokey things in you?
Acupuncture?
Yeah, can they do
The
that?
pokey thing.
probably not.
Would anyone like to be the first test subject of mechanical spider acupuncture?
Look, Danny,
No.
they're
Oh,
not
shit.
they're not an adjustable shower head, all right? Just leave them alone.
Palliser needs some acupuncture. He is very mentally exhausted. It would help him.
The ship has been instructed to listen to my direction and ask me for consent.
The AI
Fleck's gonna hit Palsier in the head with a stick.
.exe has encountered a fatal error.
Acupuncture.exe cannot rerun.
No, the ship's AI goes, I don't recognize that command.
I don't know what acupuncture.
What can you do?
Would you like to list off defensive or offensive capabilities? Or would you like to have a list of options for movement?
What can you do for your occupants?
Provide basic life support and or defensive maneuvers.
They don't have any dildos attached. Get over it. All right, moving on.
Fleck's gonna go take a long nap.
Yeah.
Fleck takes a very long nap.
Palsier is going to go continue his study on the crystal.
Ooh.
You know what you could do? You could take that bed that's in my room and just edit it to fit the entire room.
That's true. I could do that, actually.
Robert, stretch.
Hold on a second. Oh, wait. That's Fleck. Never mind.
Make him bigger.
I can't make him bigger.
Make him the thickest boy.
Oh, shoot. No, I actually literally
I'm
can't
already
do that
the
because I
thickest.
forgot that I made those parts a part of the original map, so I cannot move it.
Damn it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I can't do that.
Use your imagination.
With
Yeah,
pure
Fleck.
imagination.
Imagination.
So anyways, what are you guys doing at this point? Because the ship is now airborne at this point. It has come off the ground. It's come off its rails.
I'm definitely.
Palsier is actively studying the crystal. Can I roll Arcana to see if I can find anything out more about it?
Yes, you can.
Do Palsier. Do doodly do. Going to my character sheet and clicking the Arcana button.
Nice.
All right, you notice that it is very glowy. It is very magical. However, one of the things you notice now is that as you get closer to it, it feels like it gets warmer when you're getting closer. As you move away, the warmness recedes.
The warmitude,
Yes, the warmitude.
the warmification.
Sure.
All right, interesting. Let me look at my spells. What's everybody else doing?
I don't know. What are they doing?
Long rest. Because I gotta hop off here and go to work anyway.
Ah, sadness.
Yeah.
Boo.
Well, let's see here. While the trip is going on, are you guys molested by anything? No, you guys have succeeded. So for the remaining 3 days, you guys are unmolested by anything.
Unfortunately.
Palsier, unless you've got something in mind.
So Palsier is actually going to try to ask around the ship, since we have a little bit of time, to see if anybody knows any cold magic.
The answer would be no. No one knows any cold magic.
I don't think anybody knows any cold magic. Does Null?
No, Null does not know any cold magic.
Okay. Then Palsier is
Would this be a
going.
bad time to tell you Fleck can do cold touch? I'm just kidding.
I would be very confused, first off.
How in the fuck can you cast spells? You're a monk.
Let's see. Let us see. Do.
Oh, man, I'm tired.
Spells. Do.
On that
No,
note,
I'm afraid not. Null cannot do any cold spells. Bye, Fweck. We love you. Miss you so much. So now,
Bitch.
He gone?
Did you just say bitch and then left?
Yes, he said bitch and then left.
yes, Fleck said bitchin'.
Course tradition.
As per the course of tradition.
As tradition requires.
As the gods demand.
So Palsier, before his last course of action, is going to be to ask the ship's AI what impacts heat and cold could potentially have on the ship's drive, aka the crystal.
The ship is going to respond with anything in too far of an extreme could potentially damage the aether crystal contained and therefore enable it where I would not be able to continue to function, neither would the ship.
Interesting. Palliser's going to jot down some notes.
Outside of that, you learn nothing else new aside from the fact anytime you get anywhere more than about 3 feet to the crystal, it begins to get very warm very quickly to you.
Okay.
Based on that, you guys go 3 days, and as you come out 3 days later, you find yourselves staring down at this.
Look, Dennis.
It's a thing.
It is a thing.
You are now staring down into the city of Castilion.
Cool. Let's get our parachutes.
As you
Let's
guys,
coordinate in there.
as you approach, an airship approaches your ship. That it's a white ship, and on top of it are 3 dragonborn.
A ship?
A ship, a white ship approaches, very large and has a lot of cannons equipped to it.
Cool. Are they hailing us?
They are hailing you.
All right.
Rose is at the top, and then it's just waving and saying hi and draconic.
As you do, Alltail comes up to the ship and he pulls out a mirror and he starts shining it towards them. You see him, he's moving it, and then he's doing 1, then 2, then 3, and he's doing it in a series of little, and he gets a response back and he looks at you and goes, I've talked to him a little bit using our ship's code and told him that we're here and asking for entry into the airship docking area. They say that once we arrive, that's basically the city guard if you need to worry about it. Just don't do anything dumb and we'll be fine. I'll talk to the harbor master and see if maybe we can get a little bit of a discount since we're just visiting. Don't mention any trade goods or they'll try to hit us up with, a merchant's tax.
Roger that. Thank you for the assistance.
He gives this very, half-assed, salute, and just walks off.
I really shouldn't talk about his barrel here.
No, but he's going to because it's whack.
And with that, you
It's
guys...
like he wants to buy a fucking nuke. And we're like...
Now, to describe the city is massive. As you guys get closer, you realize that where you're from, it didn't just look big just because of the sheer size. You're realizing based on the walls that are standing well above even the castle keep at this point are probably a good 120 feet tall, and they are a good 30 feet thick. These are massive walls.
Just a shame.
Attack on Titan!
Yeah, these things are giant. And you see at each of the areas, I'm not sure if you're looking, I'm going to try to do this, the actual towers on each of them, they are armed with, as you guys get closer, you notice that they are armed with these cannons that you can tell have these large capsulated glowing areas that if you were to guess were probably some form of either crystallized or liquid actual aether stone. And there are cannons, there are these massive cannons at the top of each tower, but then there's smaller ones that look like small magically infused ballista at each of the various parts, and at each point there's just soldiers patrolling left and right. This is a well-fortified town. You do see that there is a steady stream of people walking in and out, like travelers coming, and you can see the various areas, you see a bunch of temples off to from where you guys are coming in, where all of the ships, and it's just ships are just kind of landing where they will. It's very kind of a loose dock area. It seems like it used to be more organized, but as more people came in, they just tried to clear out a lot of the clutter to make it so it was big open area so people could just land wherever they would. So there was more room, so there's less chance of people like bumping into each other since airships come in various sizes from small skiffs to large war vessels. You also see as you come over the wall, more of these small white airships are going all over the place. They're patrolling. Some of them are actually landing inside where you can see is the actual center of the capital, which is this massive keep with lots of more of these watchtowers, except instead of looking like they were designed between what you would recognize as both human and dwarves. This was probably the middle section of the city was probably constructed more of the dragonborns and elves because there's more flowing lines and there's much more color. You see there's throughout the area as you guys get closer, you also see that as you get closer where the keep is, there beautiful little vineyards and gardens and these very extravagant manors and mansions that have the same style of wall going around them with big gates. And you can see there's just houses as far as the eye can see. You see in the distance there's a bunch of what look like military because it's kind of more just it's not strapped together. It's all very organized, but compared to the sprawl of the rest of the city, everything is lined up, and you can see soldiers streaming in and out. There's more of these towers, except it's much smaller. And you can see often from your viewpoint back, there are these large towers where one of them is this very dark stone. It's got just magical fires kind of glowing just for the fact of they're kind of a purple flame instead of the normal red. You can see the glint of water off of another sectioned off area, and then you see a kind of dark and imposing one with smaller, brighter towers at the third sector. And then there's a large, what looks kind of like a sporting coliseum almost. There's houses surrounding it, but in the actual area, it's just this large coliseum that it's probably the same size as most of the larger temples. But yeah, just this sprawling city, and you can still hear as the ship lowers, you can already hear the sound of people yelling and, horse-drawn carriages being moved around. It's just a very vibrant, living city, especially since you guys are arriving probably midday, about 1 o'clock or so. And you guys slowly level out and land in behind this kind of built between mortar and stone and wooden wall that's meant more just to kind of keep this. All of a sudden, as you get closer, you realize that instead of just the talking and just the general movement of the city, now you hear like the buzz of saws and people yelling back and forth, and you can hear great clank of chains and gears of things being moved around. And there are some airships that are just getting ready to take off. And you guys find yourself in a combination of not only the airship dock, but also the industrial district.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. So I guess as we land, we are going to try to find the harbor master that Dargo said he was going to talk to.
Actually, it was Altel, your resident barbarian guy.
Ah, yes, that's right.
He is actually waiting at the top of the ship. Both Fleck and Null are both at the edge of the ship. Fleck is kind of very excitedly. He's just like, whoa, look at this. And he's just like pointing at stuff and going, look at that, and that, and that. And Null's just kind of like, you see his eyes looking over everything. He goes, well, the merchants are over that way. I can tell that much. It's compared to the rest of the city, it's very bright over there. You notice that? And as you land, Altel is he's going to walk down and he's going to start asking questions. And he comes to this Aarakocra, who is wearing this large silver medallion on his chest, and he has this very kind of Robin Hood-esque pointed hat that he's wearing. He walks up and he starts talking with Altel, and Altel, he sits there and he taps back on the Aarakocra's little checklist he's got in his hands. And it looks like they're arguing a little bit, and finally he puts his head in his hands and he goes, fine. He walks back over and he goes, okay, I talked him down a little bit. Originally he was going to say for us to stay for an indefinite amount of time. We went back and forth. He's like a month, a week. I told him we'd be here for probably about a week, and we're just visiting. If you want, he says for a week it'll be 3 silver is what he's looking for the docking fees. If we need anything else, like as far as repairs or anything, of course, then he said we have to talk to the industrial workers, and they'll be able to kind of show us to where the airship workers are, and they can do any repairs we may need.
Okay.
So Palazir is just going to say, that seems extremely reasonable.
Altel gives a cockeyed smile and goes, "You hired me for a reason, didn't you?"
And he's going to say, see if you can find anyone that may be able to increase our attack and defense capability on the ship.
He strokes his, he's got this big beard going. He goes, "Okay, I can do that." And he gives the same cockeyed salute and just wanders off into like this very noisy, like there's dust everywhere. You see people running back and forth over to where he's headed. Where you are with the airships, it seems like there's more crew members walking around. And it's just general, just airship crews. Just some of them look like they're trading. You see off in a couple corners, there's a couple of the sailors are actually playing some what look like card games or dice games. It just looks like a dockyard.
All right, well, Palazir is just going to kind of cock his head a little bit and just go, that man is a very interesting fellow. And he's going to start making his way into town, and I think this is going to be a good place to stop for the evening.
I would say so, since we're missing one of our members entirely, and then the other one had to leave. So,
indeed.
But yes, guys, take your time. Figure out if there's anywhere in specific areas you want to go. These are the ones I listed to start you with, just because I figure no matter who you really talk to who may be familiar with this area, this is what they'll be able to give you is the religious sect, the agricultural area, the military barracks, magister's quarter, merchants, and industrial. The only reason I didn't list the council in the center is I figured once you saw everything else, you'd be like, big area in the very center of the town with lots of spires. Wonder if maybe that's where the king is.
Nope, that's stupid. We're going to stay away from there. That's dumb. That place is clearly nothing. It looks like a big, maybe like a large hot tub. We're just going to avoid that.
It's actually a time machine in disguise as a hot tub.
It's a time machine hot tub. All right. Somebody should make a movie about that.
I know, right? It sounds genius or really, really dumb.
Yeah.
More likely the second. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, based on that, then, it's been a pleasure. And you guys will get to dig into the city of Castiglione when you get done with when we get started next week.
I'm excited. This is our first big city, and there's a lot to be found.
Yeah. I went out of my way to give you... I went out of my way to give you a lot of real estate to explore here.
I'm looking forward to making some rolls to try and figure some shit out.
Keep in mind, you might have to do a little bit more hunting just because with it being as big, anything you find here, you're going to have to do some hunting for.
Uh-huh.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure. I will see everyone next week. As we've said before, we are the Dungeoneers of Depravity. And, thanks for rolling with us. We'll see you next week. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.